Good morning. Warm welcome to you for this morning today. And sorry for some confusion if some of you had difficulty in finding this room. We are just starting now session 5, which is on the sub-regional perspective on the 2019 APFSD and HLPF theme, which is about empowering people and ensuring inclusiveness and equality. We have many issues and speakers, and we are very happy that Professor Sachin Chaturvedi, DG of RIS, is chairing. Sir, you have the floor, please.
Thanks, Ratnaji. Good morning to everyone. This panel, not because I am here, is extremely important. It's absolutely essential for countries in the region to move forward with. And as you might have already noticed, there are different dimensions of our ability to implement SDGs is likely to be discussed here. The very importance of voice and participation, the idea of rights and justice and norms and practice, and of course the resources and capabilities that are required to move forward in that direction is extremely important. As you might have seen in the literature, when we talk about global justice, issues comes in form of how we look at the very idea of global ethics and international justice more as a concept of Western efforts or Western theories, and most of the commentators like David Miller, they would tell you that this is largely a concept which has emerged in Western philosophy and Western practices. And this developing countries may like to adopt. But that actually is not the correct situation. As we know, in the South Asian sub-region, which always embarked on, as yesterday I mentioned in my welcome remarks to you, about the very idea of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So with that concept, with that philosophy, Indian sub-region always nurtured the idea of one world. And that philosophy of one world is something which has enshrined the policy and philosophy of what we owe to the others. And what we owe to other is bringing in duty upfront than the rights. And this confrontation between the Western approach of right-based approach and an Eastern approach of duty-bound, duty-led architecture is extremely important. And this is what yesterday in the inaugural session, this theme came up time and again as to how we bring back the narrative in terms of our duties and less focus on rights. That is not to advance in any form inequality of any nature. In the course of our economic development for last several years, exclusions have happened, and we need to take care of those exclusions and enhance the scope for inclusion. And that would give us the necessary wherewithals that are required as listed in the background note for this session for us to focus on. The very idea of right to development emanates out of this commitment. My own chairman at one point, Arjun Sengupta, and his group worked on the very philosophy and idea of right to development. The United Nations and other platforms are trying to advance that. But as we know, and we have in RIS through other publications, we have brought out the idea of one world, what it constitutes, what kind of approaches we require, what kind of responsibilities we have when we share this one planet with everyone. As Prime Minister very rightly said day before yesterday at the meeting of the International Solar Alliance, that we need to move towards this idea of oneness, be that in the realm of energy management, be that in the realm of natural resource management, and of course in terms of leveraging the advances that our economic progress is bringing in. So this is absolutely important to the very idea and the very synthesis of we adopting sustainable development goals. And those of you who were there in the session where Reena Ray chaired the last session yesterday, it came out quite clearly in terms of what is it that we can learn, and she gave examples of what she would like to learn from Bhutan in terms of the idea of happiness, from Bangladesh in terms of managing the credit that is important, and how microcredit can help the self-help groups, from Sri Lanka in terms of managing the very concept of improving upon the human development indicators. So that brings in the essential features that are important. Last month, when Nepal hosted the BIMSTEC summit, one important point that the Prime Minister Oli made in the BIMSTEC summit was very much about the fact that when Nepal has this direct access to Himalayas, important thing for Nepal is what is happening in the oceans. Because what comes out from Indian Ocean actually has direct implication for the level of snow that they have in Himalayas. And that, I think, is absolutely essential. If we have acidic waters in our oceans, it's the same acidic rain that would affect and accelerate the melting of the glaciers. So this interdependence, this idea of what we owe to the other, is absolutely core to the very philosophy of economic development. We cannot carry forward the development strategy that West adopted. We would have to have economic growth with lesser carbon footprint. And for that, what kind of technological solutions, what kind of options Sustainable Development Goal gives us. The idea that was discussed yesterday in terms of United Nations promoting truncated implementation of SDGs by picking up few goals for review each year is something that yesterday many experts raised voice against. Everybody suggested that SDGs about your comprehensive whole goal approach. And if we focus only on 2 or 3 goals, we are going back to the mindset of MDGs. And this is what is required to be dismantled and carry forward. So this important point of South Asia getting together with the idea of what we owe to the other is extremely important. Without further ado, as we have very rich panel, and one important change in the design of this seminar is in terms of encouraging participation of everyone, not just people who are sitting on this side of the table. So at 10:30, 10:35, I would have to stop interaction from this side and would have to go on the other. We would run through some 4 questions which are already circulated to you in the invite. I would request our key presenter today, Dr. Bishwanath Tiwari, who is a program specialist, HDR UNDP Bangkok office, and he would be giving for around 10 minutes to us a broad overview of how he looks at on some of these dimensions and in what way APFSD and HLPF Connect is coming in. And this is an important backdrop for us because, as I said, the idea is to bring these 2 streams of thinking and converging them. This is also a beautiful opportunity for us to see how in practice this convergence of MDG mindset to SDG strategy would evolve. So, Dr. Tiwari, you have the floor now.
Thank you, Chair. Chairperson, distinguished panelists, and participants, very good morning. So I am from UNDP, and I'm going to make this presentation on behalf of SCAP, ADB, and UNDP SDG partnership. So just I'm going to take a minute or so to talk about this partnership. SCAP and UNDP, they joined hands together in 2001 to prepare regional MDG report in the MDG era. We produced 10 regional MDG report by 2015. So with the end of the MDG era, Now we have a new understanding between the three partners, ADB, SCAP, and UNDP, under which we produce 4 outputs, and among them, annual thematic report is the most important output. This output consists of producing regional SDG report on annual HLPF theme, high-level political forum theme. So far, we produced 2 reports. In 2017, we worked on eradication of poverty, which was the LPF theme or APFSD theme. In 2018, we have worked on transformation towards sustainable and regional society in Asia and Pacific, which was the theme of the 2018, high-level political forum. Now we started working on the 2019 HLPF or APFSD theme, which is empowering people, ensuring inclusiveness and equality. So this is our last report. You can see here. The report very much recognizes the fact that risks are growing. They are very complex. So are the resilience, and the report introduces 4 types of resilience capacity: anticipatory, adaptive, absorptive, and transformative capacity, and also looks into some of the mega trends and their policy implications. So without any delay, let me go to the main section of the presentation. So as I said earlier, the theme of the HLPF 2019 is empowering people and ensuring inclusiveness and equality. And we started working. So in the process of the preparation of the previous report, we always want to get informed all our regional report from the sub-regional consultation. So we follow a participatory process. So the objective of this session is actually to learn from you, to gather inputs on the theme. So rather than, I'm not going to delve much detail, just going to introduce this theme, unpack some of the concept revolving around this empowerment, inclusion, and equality, and then after talking about briefly about the analytical framework, so that will give you a basis for providing inputs, finding out what you are doing, what are the good examples for empowering people, ensuring inclusion and equality. So this is for that purpose, actually, I'm going to make a presentation. So there is not any data as such, just only a simple presentation to hear the distinguished panelists as well as participants, your opinion and views. So as we know that the 2019 HLPF theme is empowering people, ensuring inclusiveness and equality. So this theme consists of 3 broad as well as complex concepts: empowerment, inclusion, and equality. So though, as chairperson pointed out, that some of these concepts come from the West,